As Bill mentioned, another Meet the Candidate segment here on the morning show. Brad Dunagan has thrown his hat in the ring for the Hall County Tax Commissioner. And Brad, want to welcome you to WDUN. Nice to have you aboard this morning.
Thank you, Joe. It's good to be with you.
You were just talking a little bit off here that this is your first run at a political office, and the Georgia Constitution mandates the office of Tax Commissioner, but it's not an office where you're going to make laws or set a lot of policies, but it is certainly a service and a customer service type of office, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is, and, that would be the primary function was to carry out that mandate, which billing, collecting, dispersing, and accounting for all taxes and fees collected in the county on behalf of the state of Georgia and the Hall County Commission and the Board of Education. So that's your number one goal in the office. So, but there's other things that you can do, and I think we're at a time in our history where, of course, technology is changing rapidly, and I think that you've seen that in the tax commissioner's office and in government in general. So there are a lot of areas that we can improve on to make that function work better for the office and also the citizens of Hall County.
Brad, what inspired you to want to run for office? As you mentioned, this is your first foray into this. What was the impetus?
Well, Joe, I've worked almost 40 years in the private sector, mainly in financial management, except for a short tour with the Marine Corps back during the Vietnam period. But I grew up in a home where public service was respected and considered a noble profession. And by that, I mean my father and mother, both George and I, Lou Dunagan, were public school teachers. So were my two sisters, Sandra Deal and Brenda Rakes, and Sandra now serves as First Lady of Georgia, trying to keep the governor straight. And I also have a daughter who teaches, and my wife, Mary, has taught in the public school system for 20 years. So, Joe, these are the role models I grew up with, and these are my heroes. So I decided it was a good time in my career to join the ranks of public service, and that is why I'm a candidate now for the office of Tax Commissioner.
Brad Dunagan, our guest here on WDUN, as we're talking about that candidacy, and I've never run I ran for a school office one time, but this is a little different scenario where you have employees that are in an office and you're going to be in an office where, well, let's face it, we have to come and pay. It's, you know what I'm saying?
It's not a happy time for us.
Sometimes it's not. And so then you've got a lot of different things that will go into play, if elected. That is, keeping a cohesive staff together, inviting the public and making it a pleasurable experience when they come by. So let's go to that technology and service. How do you see that you could use technology to do that?
Oh, there's many ways that I want to explore. You mentioned technology, but I think first and foremost, what I'm hearing from people in the county, we need to expand the service of the office. We need to take the function of the tax commissioner's office out to the people, and I think technology will help us in that regard. I'm a strong proponent of dual-purpose use facilities, and if we look at satellite locations out in the county, that's one thing I would look at doing is utilizing community centers, even the Hall County Public Library. And you mentioned technology. Well, I also want to explore the idea of using possibly a kiosk system, much like, you go to the airport and you put your debit card or credit card into it to the kiosk terminal, and it prints off your boarding pass and it prints off your luggage tags.
Right.
There's no reason why we could not utilize that type of technology in any satellite location, even in the grocery stores, So these are areas I want to explore, because what I'm hearing from constituents in Hall County as I go around the county and talk to people is they want more convenience and they want shorter lines, which, we all do. We've become very impatient when we want things. But so there's a lot of things we can do now. We can pay our taxes online. We can register our auto tags online as well. So that needs to be encouraged, and those are some areas that I really want to work on as tax commissioner.
Our guest this morning has been Brad Dunagan. He's running for Hall County Tax Commissioner. And Brad, how do folks find out more about your campaign and get in touch with you?
Well, they can email me at taxcommish@gmail.com, or they can just Google Brad Dunagan, tax commissioner, and it'll pull up my my blog on for tax commissioner. And I also write a couple of history blogs and a devotional blog. So if you just Google Brad Dunagan, it'll pull up all my blogs, and then you can go to the tax commissioner site, and there's more information there. They can learn more about myself and my candidacy.
Well, that's good. It's good stuff, Brad. It is, and there's a lot to learn about you and some things I've been reading here this morning I didn't know that you were involved in. And one big one is co-founder of the Gainesville Care Center. So public service is in your DNA, no doubt about that. Hey, I want to say thank you for taking time to be here. We always thank every candidate for throwing their hat in the ring and for offering themselves to public service, and no exception with you, Brad. And we'll be talking to you again real soon as we get into the spring and summer months toward the campaign and its full fledge.
Well, thank you so much, Joel. I appreciate it.